So guys, let's get into our tips for this week. So we start on Friday night with two games to start Friday, and I've gone the Bulldogs over Melbourne and the Gold Coast Suns to beat the West Coast Eagles. On Saturday, I've gone North Melbourne to beat the Tigers, the Cats to beat the Crows, the Blues to beat Collingwood, and Port Adelaide to beat the Swans. And on Sunday, I've gone Hawthorn to beat the Giants, the Dockers to beat Essendon, and then the Lions to beat St Kilda. What have you gone with this week?
So Friday night, I've went the Dogs over Melbourne, Gold Coast over the Eagles. Saturday, I've went North Melbourne over Richmond, Geelong over the Crows, Collingwood over Carlton, Port Adelaide over Sydney. And on Sunday, I went the Giants over the Hawks, the Dockers over the Bombers, and the Lions to beat the Saints.
So I think we've got two or three different this week. So we've gone Collingwood and Carlton different, GWS and Hawthorn different, and have you gone Fremantle?
Yes.
You've gone Fremantle. Okay, so we'll go through three games this week. We'll start with Collingwood versus Carlton. What a massive game this is. Really unfortunate we're going to miss this one because we'll be at the Swans Port game, of course. But Scott Pendlebury's 400th game, Carlton versus Collingwood, old rivals. What a game this is going to be. Why have you gone Collingwood? Because you'd think there'd be pretty big outsiders in this one.
Yeah, I have, but I think that a lot of it is to do with Scotty Pendlebury's 400th. I think that it's the home game for Collingwood, 95,000. I think they'll play for it. At the moment, I think that because De Koning is out, Cameron seems to be doing a lot better at the moment. I think the fact is that Mason Cox, with the duo that they're both of them, I think they can a good job in there.
I think they can beat Mark Pittonet, run him around a bit.
Yeah, and also I think their small forwards are doing better than...
Well, one thing on Collingwood's side is the fact that Carlton have been in and out of form the last month or so as well. I guess it's been overshadowed by the Swans a little bit because the Swans have obviously been up top for so long, but their form hasn't been much better, Carlton. But I just think that Collingwood, I don't think they'd even have much expectations to even be close to winning this game if it wasn't for their big win against Richmond last week. I feel like Carlton have enough there to win. And I think the chin cotter probably goes to Nick Dacos as well. I feel like, even though he hasn't done it a lot the last couple of weeks, I feel like this is a job that he's going to have to do. And I feel like that's where they're going to shut him down. The one thing is Carlton can't do, though, is what they did against Port Adelaide last week. And in the second half, just bomb it on top of Charlie Curnow's head. Yeah, I think Harry McCall will probably be back this week as well, just to help out Charlie a bit more. So Collingwood probably won't have the easiness of double-teaming Charlie Curnow. I think Carlton will win this game. After that, we get to Port Adelaide against the Swans. And do you think you'd be picking Port Adelaide if Sydney were in the form they were at the start of the year?
No way. No way in hell. If this was before the bye, there's no way I'll be tipping Port Adelaide at the moment.
You know, despite both teams' form, Sydney, I can't remember the last time they beat Port Adelaide.
The last 5 times Port's beaten them.
Okay, well, we don't have to brag about it.
Just want to put that,
just want to put it out there.
Just want to put that out there.
Now, me and you will both be at this game, so great stuff. If you see us there, guys, give us a big wave. Yeah. This is a big game for Sydney because they need to win this game. The only win they've had in the past, 4 or 5 weeks is against North Melbourne, and Sydney desperately need a win here. Now, James Rowbottom should be back. Which would, thank God. Brody Grundy could be out, though. There have been questions of maybe he'll be rested. So we'll have to wait and see on that front.
Can they afford to do that, though?
Oh, they're 6 points up on top of the ladder. I'm sure they can for a week.
Yeah.
Peter Laddams probably comes in. He had a pretty decent VFL game. Todd Marshall's been questioned if he'll be in this week, though. It could be a bit of an injury concern on his side, which would definitely help Sydney because their defence is obviously been hampered. And Melican will probably be out this week as well. With a hamstring injury, which is disappointing for Sydney, but that probably means that either Aaron Francis comes in. Do you think Port Adelaide should be going in as favourites here?
I think it's very hard to give a favourite to this game. I think that Port Adelaide played really well last week with a different looking forward line with Radiclear up there with Georgiadis and Dixon. But does the fact is that Marshall likely comes back in, throw that out? Does Radiclear go back now? Because I don't think you can possibly do that.
Well, I think Dixon, eventually when he does retire, at least they do have a replacement that Radiclear could go up forward. He obviously started his career at the Cats as a forward. They obviously tried to put him back to try and get him in the team, which never really worked out. Even though I think he's played at times good in defence, but there's also times when you're like part in your throat kind of stuff, like don't get him anywhere near the football.
Yeah.
So the one thing that Port Adelaide will have is they can stretch Sydney for their forward line with their tools. Because if they do send up Radiclear and Dixon, McCartan will be there, but Rampy probably won't be back this week.
Yeah.
So that's something where they can stretch them. Like, I still think this is a 50-50 game, but Sydney aren't playing well at the moment. So I would like to think that I go on Adelaide Oval on Saturday night, walk home with a win. But right now, I'm not very confident. And then the other game we're going to take a look at, the last one, which was the Giants up against Hawthorn. This is at Manuka Oval. Massive game. Obviously, they did meet earlier in the year down in Tassie, and Hawthorn won that game over a dubious controversial call. Why are you on the Giants here? Is it because it's in Sydney?
Yeah, I think Hogan seems to play a lot better when they're at home. Even though it is at Manuka, they don't play there as often as they do at NG Stadium. But I think the last 5 times they've played, the home team has won. So I think the home team will win. They seem to be playing a lot better. Tom Green looks like he's got back to the season starting form that he had. I think they're saying Sam Taylor should be back, probably taking Kalshivir. To be honest, with the experience that he has, should really dominate.
I've gone Hawthorn pretty similar to why I did last week against the Crows, and why I was pretty happy with that.
Just having some fun.
Well, they're having some fun. They're in hot form, and their culture that they're building off their youth is so infectious, I think. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of it? Why wouldn't you want to keep on going with this form? There's no angriness or anything when someone makes a mistake. They're always up and about. And obviously, it's a little bit easier to be doing that when you're winning. Yeah. But I don't see this team losing right now. Even though they're playing against the Giants, who have been in some decent form. This is a really good game to watch. It may even be a game that I stream on Sunday, depending on how I feel after the Swans game on the Saturday night. We'll see how we go. But that's basically all the tips we have for this week, guys. Let's look at the AFL tipping comp, of course, for our channel. And we'll be doing one next year as well, so don't you worry. Brandon S. still holds the lead. He is out by 7 now. Massive performance from him. He has jumped 122 tips, and second is Paul on 115. I've dropped down by 1 position this week. I'm still on the same amount of points as the guy in front of me, but he's got a better margin or whatever. So Brett just jumped into 3rd spot. I am in 4th. You are in 8th spot, so you're 12 points off the pace. Maybe clutch it from the back. I don't think so. I'm 10 points off the pace. Right now we have a new bottom place. It is Johnny C, the Fevolutionized. I remember this guy was right up the top, but he had a dismal week. He went for glory. Unfortunately, you got to respect it from Johnny. He went for glory, but he only got 3 tips, so he went for a couple of roughies. But to be fair, the person who finished, who was bottom, which was Brooke, got the most amount in the whole league last week with 7. Yeah, so she went big.
She was lucky. I'm pretty sure tipped poor at the start of the week to start off the week.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look. So Brooke went with Port Adelaide to start the week. She picked Brisbane. She didn't pick St Kilda. I should have picked St Kilda, dude. I'm so angry at myself that I didn't do that. I thought, and I was like, no, I'm not going to be stupid. And I was stupid not to pick him. Who else did she pick? She also picked Hawthorn at the end of the round. But that was kind of a 50-50 sort of game.
But I was the lucky one.
You
and the dogs.
Well, you and Brendan as well. You and Brendan picked top. But yeah. Anyway, guys, the tipping ladder this week. Brendan still sits on top. Basically, same old stories. We're getting a bit boring at this point. Yeah. But I'm sure he's loving it.